Now to the Rappa Rappa controversy in Andhra Pradesh. One of the punch dialogues in Allu Arjun starrer Pushpa 2 is now starring in Andhra's political drama. Rappa Rappa is what Pushpa says, threatening to behead all villains one by one in the climax of Pushpa 2. And a poster with that dialogue at a Jagan Reddy public function claiming Jagan will go after TDP when he comes to power led to the TDP criticizing Jagan of threatening violence. It turned out that the party worker holding the poster was reportedly a former TDP man who shifted over to the YSRCP, and Jagan Reddy delivered the Rappa Rappa dialogue at a press conference, making a viral impact and hitting back at the TDP. Listen in to this exchange before we head into the Rappa Rappa face-off this evening on the Southern View.
జాతరలో పొట్టేళ్ల తలకాయలు కోసినట్టు
రప్ప రప్ప రప్ప
రప్ప రప్ప రప్ప రప్ప రప్ప నరికేస్తాం. అది ఒక పోస్టరా? పుష్ప సినిమా డైలాగులు పెట్టినా కూడా తప్పేనా? అసలు డెమోక్రసీలో ఉన్నామా, డెమోక్రసీలో లేమా స్వామి మనం? ఇది నాకు అర్థం కావడం. టీడీపీని రప్ప రప్ప కోసేస్తానని కూడా అంటున్నాడని కూడా సంతోషపడదాం. నిజంగానే బాధ ఉంటుందేమో కదా వాళ్ళకు కూడా. ఆయన ఆక్రోశం చూపిస్తూ ఏమన్నాడు, ఏ జాతరలో? గంగమ్మ జాతరలో పొట్టేళ్ళు తలలు నరికినట్టు రపా రపా అని నరుకుతానని చెప్పి ఆయన అంటానంటే దాని అర్థమైంది. మరి
డైవర్ట్ చేయాలి పబ్లిక్ అటెన్షన్. దట్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఆర్ట్ ఆర్ దేర్ ఇంటెన్షన్స్. అందుకే క్రిమినల్స్ ఎప్పుడు కూడా క్రిమినల్ బ్రెయిన్సే పనిచేస్తూనే ఉంటాయి. వాళ్ళకు నరికేస్తాం, చంపేస్తాం, రఫాడతాం, రఫా 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 నరికేస్తాం, లేదంటే గంగ జాతరలో బలి ఇచ్చేస్తాం.
Why is Andhra politics going Rappa Rappa over the Rappa Rappa comment? Joining me this evening, Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari of the TDP, Karthik Yellapragada of the YSRCP, and NDTV's very own Uma Sudhir. Jyotsna Tirunagari, first to you. Why are you all worried about going Rappa Rappa? Give us a context to this.
Well, it's being the nature of the people who are actually encouraging such kind of remarks. See, I'll tell you one thing. In one of the events that Mr. Jagan Reddy has attended, some people have put up a poster which is objectionable, which actually incites violence. Police thought that should be taken into consideration, and there should be some sort of an action taken against them. Immediately, this man puts a press meet and says, "What's wrong in saying that? Manchidega. Manchidega means it's good only, no. So what's wrong in saying that is this statement? This is the man who has been the chief minister of the state for 5 years, 2019 to 2024, and he is heading a political party called YSRCP, in which an MLC of his, literally kills a man and delivers the body, in which one of his MPs does, objectionable gestures against women. In that party, one of his close aide, his own brother, in fact, is accused in murdering his own uncle. So this is the history of that party, Rahul. And see, it's not about me or anybody else talking about it. It's like, how can you accept such kind of things in the society? You're actually putting up a poster
Karthik,
saying that
this
I'll
reflects
literally kill you.
violent mindset in Andhra politics, says Jyotsna Tirunagari.
Hey, hi. Thanks for having me in the show. So, if violence and betrayal has a face, that is Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, is what we feel in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So I'll actually, put some facts, what's happening in the state for last 12 months. There are about 2,466 cases registered never ever in the history, just in 1 year against YSRCP workers. 766 attacks on the YSRCP leaders, social media activists 720. And in the same journalist fraternity as you do, there are about 63 cases just in the last 12 months, and 11 attacks on journalists. 390 were murdered who are said to be the YSRCP leaders, and there are about 73 cases just for social organization, people representing public office, the leaders of the organizations, etc. So what's happening in the state? This Andhra Pradesh is culturally, the movie capital of India. And again, there is one person who's holding a placard who happens to be a TDP person, and we still feel that he's been deployed there. And I know Jagan Reddy did not say by himself. The journalists were asking, that was the statement given, and he's telling that, there's nothing to incite violence in here. What's happening in this state? They're about, even a
quickly respond, Jyotsna, before I go to Uma, to put a perspective on this. Quickly respond to what Karthik is raising.
See, let's assume if what Karthik ji says is correct, then why did Jagan Reddy has a problem if it's a TDP worker and he's been arrested and action been taken against him? Why does they have a problem on it? We are talking about incitement of violence. I'm sorry, Mr. Karthik, 1 second, sir, 1 second. The point is, in the press conference hosted by Mr. Jagan Reddy, he very clearly said what's wrong in such kind of statements. I think, sir, he should take back those words, should apologize. That's one thing. It's very clear. I think, he doesn't even apologize for, literally demeaning women. He doesn't even apologize, but at least here, for inciting violence, I think he should apologize.
I'll have to jump in here. Just a quick point. There are about dozen plus press meets. None of the data is getting challenged, and now this is all diverted using cinema dialogues. No one talks about fiscals. No one talks about deficits. There is dozens and dozens of data out there.
You can always come to the assembly and
none of that is getting.
Give us a context to why this issue has suddenly snowballed so strongly. Does it largely reflect the deeper realities which we've been discussing of bitter animosity in Andhra politics, the kind we had used to see between DMK and AIDMK perhaps in Tamil Nadu many years ago?
Strong influence of film certainly on politics in Andhra Pradesh, and very often we have seen the film world being reflected in many senses in political life, and dialogues being borrowed from there is also not unusual. But in this case, of course, there is an endorsement of violence which perhaps certainly needs condemnation. But what I must point out is that both these political parties, very strong regional parties, have been very sharp against each other on social media and in any other exchange, and they don't leave any opportunity at all to hit under the belt either. And actually they have a history of uncivilized kind of a language being used against each other, and this perhaps is no exception either. And in this particular case as well, whether he belonged to the Telugu Desam, whether he belongs to the YSRCP, that also will continue to be debated. What is planted and what is real, all that also will continue to be debated on social media or elsewhere. But yes, the level of politics going down is something that both the parties and the state certainly needs to worry about. But before we wrap up on this, Veera, I must say that I am on RK Beach, where a beautiful beach of Visakhapatnam, where tomorrow in the morning we are going to have the Prime Minister, participate in the International Yoga Day, along with 3 lakh to 5 lakh people across RK Beach to Bogapuram, about 26 kilometer stretch, and that's going to be something that the world is going to be watching, because there are going to be Guinness records, world records that are created here.
Right, Guinness record and world records. You're on the lovely beaches of Visakhapatnam. But coming back to our political panel, Karthik, very quickly, is it time for politicians not to endorse comments which propagate violence in some way?
Yes, it is every politician's responsibility not to endorse violence. There's no question about it. You ask Mr. Lokesh, why is he holding that Red Book Constitution in the state of Andhra Pradesh? Is the great Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is given enough importance, and the Constitution of India is given importance? Ask them what is that bloody Red Book he's holding in his hands and constantly referring. Is this enough? Is this enough? What's happening? Is this a Red Book Constitution, or do we have Constitution of India written by great Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the state of Andhra Pradesh? We're all bewildered. People are getting confused just because in the 1 year of betrayal, we have made that whole thing a huge success. As I keep questioning, they do not challenge the data. They do not challenge what Jagan Reddy has told in terms of fiscals, economics, etc. They always actually downplay all of that. There's no even one objective counter that is given so far.
Jyotsna, the point he's making is that you are taking a sensational issue, just picking up, trying to subvert attention from serious issues and lapses. Your final word.
I think that's their cup of tea, and that's their, I think, foray, because they have been doing it for the past, I think 6 years, 5 years of their rule, and the last 1 year also. Again, one thing I would literally like to say is, Jagan Reddy is such kind of a person. He always tries to, divert the attention of people from very important things. Whenever, the other day also, whenever Prime Minister Modi tries to come to the state, they create some of the other nonsense. And in even this case, I'll tell you one thing, sir, very small thing. The particular, person, deceased person that they tried to go, he was, he attempted suicide almost a year back. He died almost a year back. He went now. I don't know what the reason is, and he's actually, this is their sort of a attention diversion that they do all the time. Again, if I have to answer Mr. Karthik's questions, sir, all the questions that have been posed have been answered by the concerned ministers. If Mr. Jagan Reddy has further more questions, he is welcome to
Well,
attend
we
the
have
assembly.
seen that,
He is welcome to
Jyotsna.
come to the assembly.
No,
Mr. Karthik, please kindly listen.
Both-
He is welcome to come to the assembly and ask questions there.
Okay, I
because
think
that's
both of
where
you
I
have
believe
flagged-
those questions.
Both of you have flagged serious issues. Uma is waiting for Yoga Day. I think it's time to go Rappa Rappa on the show and move beyond this conversation. Thanks very much to all three of you for joining me here on the Southern View this evening.